Welcome in, everybody. This is another episode of The Pocket. I'm your host, Preston Lang, and alongside me today is Parker Knoll.
What's up, everyone? Good to be back. We got a lot of good stuff for you today. We'll just jump right into the news. I think the biggest news in recent weeks is David Montgomery being traded to the Texans. After I feel like weeks of speculation of the players saying, "No, we're not going to get rid of him. We don't want to get rid of him." He was obviously a team guy. Everybody loved him, but now he's a Texan. And as a person who just got Woody Marks in Dynasty, I am kicking and screaming. So it's not great for Woody Marks owners, but I feel like people have kind of been down on him recently anyway, with Mixon coming back. Now, obviously, Mixon is going to be released. It feels that way. It'll be interesting. We'll see where Mixon ends up. I would just say completely avoid Woody Marks at all costs and keep it out for Mixon. Montgomery, honestly, I feel pretty good about this. I guess the offense is a little sketchy last year, but we saw Woody Marks have a few great games, and David Montgomery is just a better back. So
Yeah, I think his value is going to go up a lot in fantasy, and I don't know if I think the pendulum will swing a little too far where he'll be going
that's
too
fair.
high.
Overcorrect, yeah.
But, it's still an uptick for Monty owners out there just because, he was trapped behind Jahmyr Gibbs, not getting over 200 carries. That's going to hurt. So,
Exactly.
good for him. Going into the next thing, we got the Drew Dahlman out of nowhere retirement.
That was nuts.
The Bears, people who don't know who Drew Dahlman is, he's the Bears, or was the Bears, Pro Bowl center this year.
27 years old.
Yeah, 27 years old. He's only been in the league 5 years. 4 of those were with Atlanta. And then the Bears signed him last year to a 3-year, $42 million deal. Did 1 year, played really well. The Bears O-line was like the top unit, and then pieced out.
It'll be really interesting to see how their run game is affected. Just how dominant their line was in the run. To see how like a guy like Swift and Mononga, how those guys are affected. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting too. It's just like you never know what people are dealing with behind the scenes, or maybe he doesn't want to take the punishment on his body just from getting hit. Then he'd rather, yeah, he got the 5 years, so he got the pension, and just is walking away.
It's crazy. I know. It feels like why would you walk away from something like that? But
Especially with like he's got 2 more big years on his kind of like he's getting paid really good for a center.
right,
So
it's crazy.
yeah.
Daniel Jones franchise tag by the Colts. Not a huge surprise here, I would say. He didn't really have a whole lot of places to go with torn Achilles. He looked great for them last year. Just keep him around. Hopefully, he gets healthy soon for us Tyler Warren holders. So we'll see, but hope he heals up soon.
Yeah, he was actually a transition tag. For those who don't know, there's 2 different types of tag: the transition tag and the franchise tag. The transition tag, uh, you take the average of the top 10 at your position, and then the other teams are allowed to offer you a contract, and the Colts are allowed to match, and then you have to stay with the Colts. In this example of Daniel Jones, so Daniel Jones, like, he'll probably go try to find an offer from another team, and the Colts can choose to match or not. So Daniel Jones isn't like 100% there with the Colts yet, but he probably will be because he probably won't get paid more than $37 million. So that's a lot. But
reasonable.
yeah, but Breece Hall got the non-exclusive franchise tag. The next guy we're talking about. So if someone wants to trade for him, it's 2 firsts. So he's going to be a Jet.
Yeah, he is. He's stuck. Rest in peace. I wanted to see him free.
Yeah. I think they're trying to work on an extension, though, so he doesn't play on the tag. So then he could get traded if that case happens. But because I heard that they're working on a deal to not play him on the franchise tag. But it's pretty unfortunate he's not going to be able to go test the waters in free agency and just dip out.
Fun.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of good running backs in free agency, but to see Breece Hall leave would be great.
Yeah, free the man. He's such a talented player. Just get him out of there.
Seriously.
Yeah, going into the next part, we got the Cam Scatteroo scares. Giants have been in a lot of talks. Apparently, very interested in Kenneth Walker, who now that Breece got tagged, probably the top back in free agency. So that's a pretty big thing. And I've heard that they want to draft for Gold Jackets, and Jeremiah Love is also on their board at 5. So it's weird to think about, but Cam Scatteroo to the Giants is like a 4th-round pick. They're not financially committed because everyone like loves Cam Scatteroo and like views him very highly. And he feels like such a culture, like part of the culture change in New York. But he's a guy too you don't want to like risk because he's out there like cracking skulls every play. And I know he had like a freak injury, but it seems pretty interesting to. He's probably gonna be a 1-2 punch. So Kenneth Walker might be in a 1-2 punch too if that does happen. But
yeah, I'm not so sure. I love Jeremiah Love going to the Giants. I mean, yeah, he's gonna get snaps, but we've seen rookies get, put as the second stringer early on in seasons before. I mean, Trevion Henderson last year, we've seen it before. Jameer Gibbs, his rookie year. Jeremiah Love is a generational talent, but if he goes to the Giants and Scat gets some snaps in front of him, like you might just see a lower snap count than you'd like from some other landing spots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jeremiah Love is going to be not the guy walking in. He's going to get taken too highly because I
I
think,
would agree, but
yeah,
you
yeah,
never know.
you never. I mean, Scat would eat into it for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like there are places
you're
that
right.
he would get the full blown.
I mean, if he goes to Tennessee, who else is around there? Washington's at 7. Saints, he'd get all of it.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, people always thought he was going to go to the Chiefs at 9. I think there's almost no way he falls that far now. I mean, especially at the combine. I mean, he didn't have to run. He runs a 4.36. I mean, just really impressive. I mean, he looked really good throughout the whole combine. He could have just ran too and then stopped working out, and he kept working out. So he's like a cool dude for that. Like he didn't need to do that. I mean, he didn't risk anything really, but just cool that he worked out with other running backs.
Yeah. Next, not exactly fantasy relevant in terms of the player, but the picks and the changing of defense possibly could. Trent McDuffie traded to the Rams, which is nuts because of how good the Rams defense was already last year. You had a guy like Trent McDuffie. For McDuffie, the Rams gave up pick 29 this year, 5th, 6th, and then a 27th, 3rd. So a decent haul for Trent McDuffie. I think the biggest implication, the Rams were already a good enough defense. It's going to be, it's still hard to play some players against the Rams, but pick 29 could be an offensive player going to the Chiefs. I know we talked about Stowers, sorry. But that would be an interesting pick for the Chiefs if we see him go in the first round. There could be some fantasy implications with that pick going to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's just too big of a trade to not talk about. I mean, Trent McDuffie is a premier corner in the league. I know he profiles as like a slot nickel corner, but he can play outside too. Very versatile player. We have to bring him up. I mean, it's the biggest trade of the offseason, bigger than the Monty stuff. But going into another trade, just happened to today, DJ Moore to the Bears for a second. I thought that was crazy.
That's a lot of, yeah.
I know it was DJ Moore in a 5th for a second, but just boiling it down for fantasy, a 2nd-round pick this year seems like a lot for DJ Moore.
You can tell the Bills are all in. I mean, they're trying to get a guy to throw it to Josh Allen to throw it to. That's been their biggest gripe. The Keon Coleman stuff going on in the offseason with the GM blaming the coach and then Sean McDermott getting fired. All this crazy stuff over this first-round receiver. They clearly are in need of one. So to get DJ Moore, I guess I get it. For a second, I don't know, but
it feels weird to me. I mean, I don't know the exact price on AJ Brown, but I think I'd rather pay up if I'm already paying like a 2nd-round pick for AJ Brown.
100%.
Like I'd rather, like, I don't know. I've heard the tag is like a first and a top 100 pick. I mean, that is a lot for AJ Brown, but I mean, after DJ Moore going for a 2nd, like maybe not. Like
seriously, yeah.
It's like I'd personally probably rather pay up. I think DJ Moore is a better player than like the public eye thinks at this point because he's not used a ton with the Bears with all the mouths to feed. But I mean, probably like Burden, Rome, Loveland. I mean, they're all on the uptick.
I do like the Bears pass catchers more now. It's just a higher likelihood of like those 3 guys to be a top 2 target on their team. Like one of those 3 guys will probably get backburnered more.
Yeah,
I agree. Than the other 2, but it's a higher likelihood of it. It's just a better outlook with DJ Moore gone.
Yeah. My thing is if you want like the elite assets, I think like 2 of them could be and 1 of them won't. But they could all eat where they're all like middling assets.
Yeah.
Like, like they could all eat. Like with 3, it's possible. With DJ Moore there, it wasn't impossible. Yeah. Just going into some like the last little points. We know this a while ago, but Javonte Williams signs with the Cowboys, 3-year, $24 million with $16 million guaranteed. Love to see it for Javonte. Good deal. We'll kind of buzz past it. He's going to be the starting running back for the Cowboys for at least 2 years.
Yeah, good for him. Next up, we got Kyler Murray released by the Cardinals. I do really love this for fantasy because I love Jacoby Brissett for fantasy, and it kind of feels like they're going to rock with him again next year unless they do something crazy. He played well at quarterback. They didn't win a lot of games, but they weren't winning with Kyler either. Jacoby played good enough offense. I love this for Trey McBride. Now, I'm weird about Michael Wilson and Marv just because it'll be interesting to see both of them healthy. But Trey McBride is back up there obviously he was up there for me, but he's back up right at Bowers for me. It's hard for me to pick one or the other. I think last week we talked about liking Bowers more. then McBride. It's pretty much split for me with Jacoby. It's just Kyler Murray was my biggest worry, and
I think Kyler could go impact another team though, like like
100%. Yep.
spoiler alert, I think I got him going to the Jets today because we're doing free agency predictions. But I think like him on the Jets could really help Garrett. I like their O line. Like Kyler's still a very capable quarterback. I mean, he went #1 for a reason. There was some crazy stuff. Did you see the A's owner said he could come to baseball still?
I did see something about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be. I'd love to see that.
yeah, they'd be crazy.
He's
Just
sick.
go
He
like
was
the A's
like
have the
a
rights. He
he was a
just
top 10
switches
pick.
9.
9. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nuts.
I also saw something. I don't know if it's true. It was like a little TikTok from a guy. But they said like the team could technically pay Kyler on the minimum. Like the team could sign him for the minimum this year because the Cardinals are entitled to pay him 38.6 million, and then whatever the team like who Kyler goes to has to pay like the difference. So if someone signs him to $1 million, the Cardinals are like on the hook. So like someone could get Kyler for the minimum if that. I haven't fact checked that, but that'd be crazy.
That'd be nuts. It'd be interesting to see him go to a team like the Vikings. I saw some speculation of that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It would be interesting to see what Kevin O'Connell could do with a guy like Kyler Murray. I mean, we saw what he did with a guy like Josh Dobbs and Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, some of those guys.
Just wait on McCarthy, man.
I'm done waiting. I also just don't like him, so
Fair enough.
he has upside there, but it
Yeah.
would be fun. I mean, as a Packer fan, I don't want the Vikings to be good, but a guy like Kyler Murray, like
Yeah, I actually would want Kyler to go there
that'd
just
be
because
fun.
I am a JJ owner, but I'm also a Jefferson owner. So
That would be great.
I need if McCarthy does fail like Parker thinks, I need the safety net of Kyler.
I don't know if the word "if" is the right when maybe.
All right. We're gonna and then the last bit of news also just happened today is Stephon Diggs got released from the Patriots. So I expect the Patriots to make a move at receiver, whether that's in free agency coming up or maybe in the draft.
100%. Wasn't he also released by Cardi B?
Dude, probably. I mean,
I'm pretty sure there was some fallout there.
dude,
I'm not up on my
Yeah.
news, but
I heard that was like a whole issue with the Patriots. They were like just trying to push that court date down the road till after the Super Bowl and then cut ties.
see ya.
But
Yikes.
going into our next little bit, I actually made a dynasty trade and wanted to share it with you guys. Just because you guys, want to know what's going on in our league. I traded Javonte Williams right after he got his new contract for T. Higgins and Byshell Tootin. I really like this deal for me. I think I'd rather have T over Javonte anyway. But I think they're close. Like if you really need a running back or really need a receiver, like I think you could flip a coin. I don't think it's like too crazy to say. And I will say I did this trade before Travis Etienne was not put on the franchise tag, so Tootin's value like skyrocketed like a couple days after I made this trade, which like was part of the risk. But it's looking like it's paying off. I like Tootin. I think Tootin will probably be the starter. I mean, Travis Etienne could still re-sign. The Jags could sign someone else, but I personally think Travis Etienne's on the move.
Yeah, and to see Travis Etienne leave would be unreal for you in this trade. But
Yeah,
I think like here you just basically traded safety for high upside. Javonte Williams is going to be a safe top 20 back. He's on a good offense. He plays well. Is he going to repeat a top 11 performance again? Maybe not. But as long as the guy stays healthy, which he has, and at least he was this last year, I think he's a fairly safe running back. Whereas T's a little bit higher risk with his injury history and Tootin with Etienne. But I think your value here was great, and I think it's just a really fun trade with a lot of upside.
yeah. I think too, just for like the dynasty players out there, like a bit of advice. I think some people look at their lineup right now there's so much turnover with like running backs and stuff that they're like, man, I don't have any running back depth. I don't even have a running back too. It's like the running backs will come and like you'll find someone. So I would just if you can flip a guy like Javonte to a team who like desperately needs a running back, like I feel like I got a great deal. I mean, there's other guys that you could flip that are safe too. I think you can get people where they look at their team now and are freaking out. So just a piece of advice. I think you could take advantage of people's insecurities, which that sounds kind of bad,
Dang,
but
holy cow.
yeah. Hey, we're out here to try to win championships. We're not
Try to take advantage of people's insecurities.
No, I'm not even saying that's what I did in this trade. I'm just saying, I think in general, it's a championship move.
The person that you traded with is one of our like 8 listeners. We just lost a listener for sure because of this.
Nah, he'll keep listening. He's a good dude.
I do love that guy.
Yeah.
Take Devontae Smith off my hands, please.
Yeah, I don't even think it's like a terrible deal because his running backs were
No,
terrible.
if
He had
Javante
Kyron and he didn't even have a chance
look,
besides Tootin.
if Javante repeats as a top 11 guy,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and Travis goes back to the Jags, like that's a pretty fair deal.
yeah,
There's a very high possibility that this is
just yeah
just a good value deal
for
with
both teams.
yeah, correct. Yes.
I
So
just have some built-in upside for the next maybe week. if it's
until Travis,
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't know what that.
I have upside for a week, but
Right.
yeah. Moving on, going into the combine review. I watched the running back, quarterback, receiver day. Drew Aller, I thought looked pretty good, coming off that broken fibula, I think something like that.
Yeah, it was something nasty.
It was some with his leg, or maybe his hammy. Anyway, big injury at Penn State. He was looking to go really high last year. Like people thought he should have declared. He could have been maybe the quarterback 2 behind Cam Ward.
Dante Moore treatment. Wait, yeah, it's gonna be rough next year for him.
For Dante Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Dante Moore would be the quarterback 2 and then comes back. Yeah, maybe something like that.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah. But I thought he had a really big arm. He looked like he could snap it. His footwork looked fine to me. He kind of did a couple like short steps, like some hidden steps, but I thought he looked fine. He looked good. And then I thought another fun guy was Carson Beck. I thought he looked on point, but he got booed on every time he was up for any drill, which is crazy to me because I get like it's in Indiana and they just played Indiana, but like Indiana won. Like
It's just so BM.
yeah, like he's getting booed every single drill for 3 hours. It was insane.
That's nuts.
He was getting booed even in like the receiver drills where he was just throwing the ball. It was crazy. Indiana fans were a little petty for that, but I did see Mendoza try to tell him to be quiet and like shut up a little bit.
Mendoza's
But
a good dude, stand-up guy.
yeah, well, he was just there, like did nothing and just like stretched with the team with the guys. It was funny.
He was in Indiana. He had to be there.
Yeah, true. He did have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he made an appearance, but it was just funny. He's like did the stretch he did, that didn't
it.
throw it all.
Yeah.
But-
A guy like Carson Beck, for me, I don't know if he's going to be all that fantasy relevant. I think of guys like Gunnar Stockton and some of those. They played well in college. They're old, whatever. I do kind of think Drew Aller would be a fun name to pick up in especially in a superflex fantasy, or dynasty, which is what most dynasties are.
Put him on your taxi.
He'd be so fun to just throw on your team because he was such a high guy last year, and for him to go down with injury, yeah, but it doesn't mean he just lost all his talent. I don't know. I think you could get him at a really good value this year, similar to a guy
You get him for like nothing.
like a Tyler Shuck, for example. And I think Drew Aller was a better prospect than Tyler Shuck was before he got hurt, and he was projected to be a higher pick. So if he
Yeah, but then Shuck like jumped up boards.
Shuck's obviously yes.
It was a crazy like no one thought he was going round 2 and
right.
he did.
He looks great. So but I think Drew Aller, I don't know if he's going to get drafted round 2. He may not get drafted very highly, but he could be a sleeper down there to pick in the second, third round of your rookie drafts, and he could turn into something. I mean,
yeah, you never know. I mean, you're shooting shots in the 3rd round anyway, so it's like
if you're going to take a shot on anybody, you might as well take a shot on a guy who looked good and got hurt. You know, his value just decreased for a reason like that. As far as running backs go, we had the fastest running back in this class, Mike Washington from Arkansas. He's running a 4.33 at 6'2", 223. And if anybody knows the standards for running backs, Derrick Henry has ruined that. They're not normally over 6 foot running that fast. So to be 6'2", 223 especially, he had a 39-inch vert, 10.8 broad. I mean, he just looks like a great athlete. We'll see what kind of draft capital he gets into. The thing is, it feels like we get trapped in 40 times sometimes. I feel like more at receiver than running back especially. But just because he's a 4.33 and a freak athlete, if the draft capital isn't there, you kind of got to be careful.
It's like he'll be my running back 2 in the class if he's in the 2nd round, but
of course,
if he goes 4th round, it's like I don't even care about him.
Right.
So
how often do those running backs work out? Like not much.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Guys especially. I mean,
we'll see how much the combine really affects the draft. I know some teams don't even like go to the combine because they're like, we don't care. It's like we want to see what we see on film.
You've already scouted long enough. Yeah.
But another guy I really liked was Jam Miller from Alabama. He like surprised me because he hasn't gotten like any I don't know. I feel like he's got no buzz. He's like not on a lot of people's radar, and he might be nothing. He might go really late, and it's just like, oh man, that sucks. But he looked really fluid to me, and he ran a 4.42, which is very solid and fast. Like I thought he looked really good. I just thought he impressed me at the combine, so I just wanted to put him in there to give him a little shout out.
Bama running backs have a good history in the NFL as well.
Yeah,
so.
just don't forget about him. You know, I mean, he could be the last pick of your third round. Like, who cares?
Who cares?
I thought he looked good at the combine. I thought he looked good at Bama too. I know it kind of went downhill. He got hurt. Another guy, like you said, can take a shot on. Going in, a guy who probably shouldn't have ran the 40, Emmett
Seems like it.
Johnson, slowest to run at a 4.56, but his first attempt was a 4.6 flat. So it was just like, ugh. For a guy who I wanted, I like him, and if he ran really fast, maybe he's the RB2 for. I mean, he's the RB2 for a lot of people out there, and I think this hurts him a lot because it's like everyone tries to justify, right? If they don't do good at the combine, it's like, oh, I really like his film. I don't care. If they do really good at the combine, it's like just reinforces what you thought. So it's
you gotta take it any way you want.
yeah. I mean, so do I care that much? No, but it is a little concerning. I don't love it.
Well, I also feel like the running backs in this class it's like Jeremiah Love and then a couple of guys who, depending on draft capital, can be all right. It's not the strongest running back class regardless. So
right, and you wanted him to stand up and become maybe a guy, and he didn't really stand out.
Yeah.
He was also the only guy to run the 3-cone drill, which probably shouldn't have done that because he didn't look very good. But
gotta prove him wrong.
Yeah,
except he
I don't know.
did it.
Yeah,
proved him right.
Moving on to the receivers, a guy who's been getting a lot of buzz. I think someone's going to take a chance on him in the first round of the NFL draft. Omar Cooper ran a 4.42 and then just stopped his workout. He ran that, was like running around, super happy. Everyone thought he was going to everyone was praying. It's like, okay, please run like a 4.5. That's what everyone wanted is like, or like a 4.45, sorry, anywhere in between there. And then he ran a 4.42 and it was just like, wow.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
to run and just stop your workout just like that.
Yeah, he was pumped. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be probably a top 10 he'll be a top 10 dynasty pick probably. If he gets the draft capital.
If he gets the draft capital, of course. We had Chris Brazel at 6'5", running a 4.37. And I don't know if you guys know, but also 6'5", running that kind of fast is ridiculous. So, just a freak athlete to look out for. We also have Jeff Caldwell. He ran a 4.31 at 6'5" as well. He's 6'5", 215, so beefier. So a couple of tall guys who ran fast. Just pay attention to their draft capital, what teams, what situations they go to. I know we had a guy like Dante Thornton last year who was also, 6'5", 6'6", and ran something like that.
Yeah.
Freak athlete, and he ended up on the Raiders, and it's a terrible situation. Who knows if he will ever turn into anything. Those can be traps sometimes. But when you see a guy who's 6'5" and runs fast, if he's on a decent situation, take a shot on him late. You never know.
I think Jeff Caldwell is like a nothing probably, unless we have like a crazy rise. But Chris Brazel could go round 2. I mean, there's some upside with Chris Brazel there. But yeah, I just thought we'd mention some tall, fast guys who performed very well at the combine. They both did very well throughout, not just their 40s, but
those are the kind of guys that get random looks this time of year. They're not relevant up until combine. It's just, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. And then our last receiver, I just had a note on Denzel Boston. I mean, he's a mock first round guy. Some people like him, some people hate him. I mean, it's kind of, you're very one way or the other with Denzel Boston. I thought personally he looked sloppy and had a lot of drops early on in the combine, so I don't think it'll affect his draft stock at all. Just something I just took away from it that I don't know. He either didn't care to be there or had an off day, but just a note.
Moving on to tight ends, we had Kenyon Sadiq, who is, he's the odds-on favorite to be the highest drafted tight end. It feels pretty obvious, but ran a 4.39, had a 43.5-inch vert, 11.1 inch or foot broad jump. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. Freak athlete. He goes in the first round, which he should. Might end up even being a top 15 pick. I mean, we've had generational tight ends 2 years in a row. No reason to stop now. It feels like just pick them in your rookie drafts.
Yeah, the fastest tight end ever. I do think his production profile, his production in college wasn't super great, so it's a little concerning because you're coming off the year of Laporta, tight end 1, Brock Bowers, then you go into this year where it's Loveland, Warren, Fannin, all studs. So it's a little I think he could get overdrafted just on the fact that we've been on this tight end hot streak in fantasy.
Yeah, people could be
where he didn't have the production, and then he's the fastest ever. And that 11-1 broad was the best of all time for tight ends until the next guy, Eli Stowers, went and hit him with an 11.3 broad. So that's now the best of all time. But This tight end class is really athletic. Stowers actually has the best vert of all time with a 45.5-inch vert, which is crazy. And then he also ran a 4.51, which is second fastest, only behind Sadiq. So, I mean, I think he'll be a second rounder at worst in the real NFL draft. And I mean, if he somehow, like we talked about before, if the Chiefs at 29 take Eli Stowers, because I don't think they're going to go Sadiq and he won't be there at 29. So they go Eli Stowers. I mean, he'll be a first round pick in Dynasty rookie drafts.
For sure. Yep.
So that's kind of cool to talk about. But yeah, moving on, going into me and Parker's free agency predictions. Really excited for agency right around the corner. We're going to let you know where we think guys are, and hopefully it comes true.
Yeah, a little note on the free agency predictions is we were not allowed to put the player back on the team that they currently are on. So, we talked about some free agents earlier, but I'll just throw out a random example. Who was it? George Pickens. We'll talk about him later, but we both kind of believe he's on the Cowboys or will be on the Cowboys. But we wanted to pick a team that wasn't the Cowboys to make it more fun. So nobody can go back to the current team that they're on. So, for example, the first guy up, Malik Willis. Obviously, we as Packer fans would love to see him return to the Packers, but he's going to be gone. Preston, you want to tell us where you think he's going?
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are a good situation for him. I think he kind of does what Kyler Murray did. I mean, I know it's like a new coaching regime, and they have Jacoby Brissett, but I think he's still fun for the Cardinals. Like they don't want to risk a lot of stuff, and they have pieces that can help them win. Like not win now, but like Bowers, Wilson, and Marv obviously need a quarterback, and I think Malik could be that guy for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him going to the Cardinals. I think that would be really fun as a Malik Willis fan. I do kind of feel like they're just going to roll Jacoby Brissett, if I'm going to be honest. It just kind of feels right, and then try to draft a guy in a future, in the future. We saw success with a guy like Sam Darnold recently, a guy that was counted out. Even Geno Smith, when he went to Seahawks, that was kind of like the Sam Darnold before Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be thinking, man, we have a guy like Jacoby Brissett who's pretty seasoned and had a decent season last year. Maybe we can integrate him more into the offense, and who knows. But I think they're going to stick with him. I think Malik's going to the Jets. Unfortunately, I hope he doesn't, because it's just an armpit to see anybody go there. But they've been taking shots on quarterbacks like this for a long time. They can't seem to find their guy, and they're not going to be able to draft one this year with Dante Moore saying peace. So they're going to get a quarterback, whether it's Malik Willis, Kyler Murray. They're going to get somebody.
I think with Malik too, it's like part of the reason I think teams are going to want him is because everyone speaks so highly about him. He's not going to be a locker room problem. He like learned under LaFleur and Love and really flourished with the Packers, and it just feels like when you don't have that baggage of like, oh, this guy could be a cancer, like you want that in your leader. Like if you're taking a chance, like I mean, I've heard he could get like $30 million. Like you're paying someone that much as your leader of the team, you don't want to risk them being a cancer, being a diva, being whatever way. So I think that like appeals to a lot of teams too. Like
he's a standard dude.
I almost put the Dolphins there because like Jeff Hafley talks so highly about him.
I really thought Dolphins as well. That was my other pick.
Yeah. I changed it, but I think the Dolphins are a very possible landing spot. So I just wanted to say that. Moving on, we've talked about him a lot this episode so far, but Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Vikings here. I know I've seen a little bit of speculation, but I think this one would just be fun. Even as a Packers fan, I think Kyler Murray deserves better. I think Kevin O'Connell deserves far better than J.J. McCarthy, because that guy's buns. Regardless, I'm getting off topic on J.J. again. But like we forget how good this guy was 4 years ago. He led the Cardinals to a 7-0 start, only to be stunted by the Packers back in 21. He was on a good Cardinals team for 2 years, and then he got hurt, and things have looked rough. And then the coaching situation with Jonathan Gannon and everything going on there has just killed his career. And Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer. He's the guy who brings these people back to life. We've already seen it with Kirk. We saw it with Darnold. We even saw it with like guys like Josh Dobbs. Like he was just able to win games. This year was different, Carson Wentz, JJ, Brosmer. That was tough. I really think that with a guy like Kyler Murray, O'Connell could do a lot of things, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And again, as a Packer fan, I don't want to see them succeed, but also watching a guy like Justin Jefferson have a season that he did was disappointing. He's one of the greatest talents we've seen, and he had a bad year. I mean, objectively bad year for himself, not for NFL standards, but it's fun when he's playing good. So somebody like Kyler Murray, I think, could really spice things up.
Yeah, I think for like the safety net of Justin Jefferson, that'd be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have Kyler Murray going to the Jets, where Parker had Malik Willis going. I actually think the Jets, like if it wasn't the Jets, like if you could just put a different team name or a different organization, I think they'd be a really good landing spot. I think they got 2 firsts this year at the number 2 and like 18. I think at 18 they could definitely be taking one of those like Tyson or Lemon or a offensive threat. I think they have a good O line, bringing Brees back. They got a number 1 in Garrett Wilson. Like I think it's actually a good landing spot for a quarterback. The problem is like the history of the Jets just being a dumpster fire for so many years. So we'll see. Maybe Kyler Murray can overcome that, but or if he goes there, whoever goes to the Jets can overcome that. But
It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see who's going to have their career ruined next.
yeah, the weird thing is I like the spot now, but
Well, they sold their defensive players though, so that their defense is going to look a little rough.
yeah, but for fantasy,
for fantasy,
for
yes.
fantasy,
For fantasy, yes, that's true.
yeah.
When I think the Jets, I don't think fantasy anymore. I think of real NFL.
Yeah, no, it's
But
yeah.
you're 100% right. That's true. That's very true. Moving on to running backs. Highest, most sought after running back in the free agency market as of now, Kenneth Walker. I think he's going to the Saints. Whether it's him or a different running back, I think the Saints are really going to try to get somebody. I think it'd be fun to see Kenneth Walker on the Saints. Their offense looked a ton better through the second half of the season. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is aging and doesn't look like himself. They are kind of missing a studly running back to be a good offense. You know, they have Juwan Johnson still. They have Chris Olave. If Shuck's the real deal, which it kind of looks like it is, to bring in a guy like Kenneth Walker would be awesome. It would just be fun to see this team good again. And they've kind of been in the pits for a while. They have a good history. So for a guy like Kenneth Walker to go and be the instant starter would be awesome. And again, as a Kenneth Walker fantasy fan, it'd be fun to see him in a position where he's going to get a majority of the carries.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I have Kenneth Walker going to the Giants because I think Kenneth Walker's awesome, and the Giants they showed that they like might be interested in him. That's why I picked it. But also, the more and more I thought about it, the more it made sense to me. Just because I know we talked about the Cam Scatterbo news, but because they have Cam Scatterbo, they can do where like Kenneth Walker does have an injury history, like mitigate him like the Seahawks did. And I know that's like not fun for fantasy. Like if he goes to the Giants, that is not where I want Kenneth Walker to go. Yeah.
Bad for Scatterbo.
I don't want him to ruin Scat. I don't want him to ruin Kenneth Walker. Like I want both those guys to be super fantasy relevant. The more good running backs, the better. But I think it is a real possibility that he goes there. So I did put it down. I'm nervous. I don't want it to happen. So
it would be really cool for regular NFL because the Giants would be a great offense.
It'd be fun to watch too. Just because like Dart and Scat and Neighbors and like all those guys they have, like Walker, they're all really fun to watch.
And they might grab a dude like Colonel Tate or
you know what I mean? 5. We don't know what they're doing at 5.
I don't know.
But yeah, Kenneth Walker, he's just a guy. Yeah, I think he needs to get mitigated a little bit, but I hope he goes somewhere. I'm kind of hedging my bet because if he goes to the Giants, I'm right for the pod. But if he doesn't go there, like fantasy value goes up, so I'll take it.
I like doubling down. I want him to go somewhere fun, so
yeah.
I'll be double disappointed.
Parker's get better or get even worse.
Get even or get even worse. Yeah. I love it. And I need to get even on Kenneth Walker because he burned me last year.
Yeah, that's the same. I said it wrong. I'm not a.
No, you're right.
Not a really a gambling.
Get better or get worse. Yeah, well, that's pretty much everything there, Preston.
All right. Moving on to Travis Etienne. I need this guy gone because of my Tootin trade that I made. So I think he goes to the Vikings. I think the Vikings need a running back. They just released Aaron Jones. I don't think there's any running backs they want to take at like 18 because this running back class sucks and Jeremiah Love won't be there. So I think they might make a splash. I thought Jordan Mason kind of looked meh. I had high hopes for Jordan Mason, but yeah, I think he goes to the Vikings. I think the Vikings are like one of the best landing spots, so I'd really like Etienne if he goes there. I think their offense could be really good with him. So yeah, I'm hoping for the Vikings, even though I'm a Packers fan.
You know what I think would be really fun for the Vikings is if they traded J.J. McCarthy to move up in the draft to get Jeremiah Love, and then they pick up Kyler Murray in free agency. That team is so back. Think about that. You're basically trading air for Jeremiah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I mean, I don't want the Vikings to be good, so I don't want to see that.
That's fair. I would like to cheer for Jeremiah Love, and if he's a Viking, I can't. I picked the Chiefs for Travis Etienne. It feels like, again, a running back's got to go to the Chiefs eventually. I mean, the running back room looked kind of rough this year. And it'd be fun to kind of see Travis Etienne go on the Chiefs. I don't know what the Chiefs' offense is going to look like this year with Rashee Rice, with Mahomes coming back from the injury. We don't know if Kelsey's going to be back. It's very confusing, but if Travis Etienne is on the team, he's a good back. They're bound to bounce back in some sort of way, and they're going to need a running back at some point. So I think it'd be a fun spot for him to go. Next up, we got Tyler Algier. Um, Again, a great fantasy back to leave for both himself and Bijan, which would elevate Bijan to the best running back in history. I'm like kind of kidding, but I mean, not really. I think Tyler Algier could go to the Vikings. Again, we said Aaron Jones is released. Tyler Algier feels like the pickup the Vikings have been making recently with Alexander Madison and then with Jordan Mason. Tyler Algier feels like the next name on that list of the same exact people.
True.
But
I was gonna
slightly
say,
better. But
yeah.
Tyler Algier sounds like a Vikings running back pickup.
Yeah, the reason I didn't put him there is I feel like Tyler Algier and Jordan Mason are like the same guy, like big bruiser who
feels the same to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you did, because you think the Vikings are going to just get another guy. But I picked the Saints because I feel like he's a guy who can run in between the tackles really well, and then you have like Kamara and Devin Neal, who are a little bit smaller guys who can pass catch and stuff like that. And I think they wanted that. Like they went and signed Audric Estime, and he didn't really work out, but they showed that they wanted a bruising back, and I think Tyler Algier is just like that upgraded back that they could really use in that 1-2 punch with him and Kamara.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad landing spot either.
I think he'd be really relevant for fantasy.
It actually would be.
Yeah. On the Saints, he'd be the goal line back. I think
he would be good.
I think he'd be really valuable for fantasy.
Pretty easily could turn up as an RB2 on the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Kamara's even fading out, so I like Algier, so I kind of hope he leaves the Falcons and goes to the Saints.
That'd be cool. I actually would prefer him to go to the Saints. I just think he just has Vikings written all over him.
Fair enough. They always do that.
They always do that. Next up, we got Rico Dowdle. I think he's gonna go to the Broncos. They're gonna bring in a running back to go along with Harvey. And we can talk about Harvey next week. More on some dynasty trades and or buys and sells, but the Broncos, like Sean Payton, he's a huge committee guy. It feels like they're going to bring in a running back, and it kind of feels like Dobbins isn't leaving. I don't know if that's correct. At least it was for a while. Or he is leaving. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, he could return, but he very well might not. I like the Broncos pick. I think Rico could go there.
Yeah, so if Dobbins leaves especially, they're going to bring somebody in. I think Rico's got a high likelihood of it. And I think with the promise of a committee, I think he'll at least be satisfied enough to go there and get some decent money. You know, he wants to go be a lead back somewhere, but I don't know. There's not a lot of places where he's going to go be a lead back for long. And I think with Sean Payton's use of two running backs that he has, and especially how J.K. Dobbins was used last year and how inefficient Harvey was at the end of the season, I think there's a decent chance that Rico goes and gets a bunch of snaps.
Yeah, the reason I picked Seattle for Rico is because he's been saying, I want the opportunity to be a lead back. And I don't think he's going to get there, but Seattle can kind of offer him like a halfway there deal.
Where if he cooks, then...
Where Zach Charbonnet's on an torn ACL. So he's going to, if he goes to Seattle, he can start there. Plus, I think like Seattle's coming off a Super Bowl. Like they're going to be contenders again. Like they're obviously, like they're the Super Bowl champs. And I think like Dowdle could be like, man, I'm getting a part-time starter plus like an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. Like I think he's going to take that. I think he might even take like the fit of that over, I mean, he's going to want to get paid because he's never been paid. But I think that it's like a perfect situation for him, and I think Seattle would offer him. I don't think Seattle's going to ride with nothing at the running back room if they let Walker go.
I would agree.
Just start the season coming off a Super Bowl.
I don't mind that at all, actually. I like that landing spot for him, and he plays his way into it. He may get more snaps. I mean, Sharps is always going to be involved. They love him over there for their goal line. So, but Rico could be like the main workhorse back with Sharps coming in on third downs and in goal line situations, but Rico is going to get more snaps. I think there's just that's like a high likelihood of him getting a lot of snaps is if he goes to the Seahawks. I like that pick.
Yeah. Our last running back on the list is Rachaad White. I have him going to the Chiefs. He just feels like a Kansas City Chief to me.
That's another
like
one. I like that.
He's just like, they always have this pass catcher who's like pretty inefficient on the ground, but just like his calling card's pass catching, like Samaje Perine, for example. Like, it just feels like they're gonna sign Rachaad White and they're just gonna be bad at running back again. It's just what it feels
The
like.
Chiefs have done that for a long time. They've been doing that.
They're gonna get him on a really cheap deal, and they're like Rachaad White's a good enough player where they can get by. Like I don't know if they want to go all in this year and like pay a running back with Mahomes coming off the ACL.
Very
So
true.
I think Rachaad White's like the perfect back for them.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that. Rachaad White just sounds like a Chief.
Yeah, he
I
does.
don't mind it. I have Rachaad White going to the Titans. Tony Pollard is kind of getting up there in age. Rachaad White adds the dynamic of pass catching to the offense, and this offense is getting more dynamic. I think he would fit in pretty well there, and give Cam Ward a good check down option. I think he'd just be kind of fun if he went to the Titans, and I think they're going to look to try to get somebody. So yeah, that's not a whole lot of logic to that. I like the Chiefs pick. That's fun. I just like it.
The Titans could. I just think that like Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, like they'd have to move off of one of them for
Probably
that to have. But they could. I mean, Tony Pollard is aging, like you said. But I don't know. I'm for some reason like Rachaad White to the Chiefs is like my most confident pick. I don't know why. It's just like a gut feeling. But moving on to like the most fun guy on the list, I think people will care about the most for fantasy is George Pickens. I think Courtland Sutton is maybe going to get traded, maybe going to leave. Like I don't know. I'm not very confident in Courtland Sutton's future. He's aging. I think the Broncos could really use a wide receiver 1 for Bo Nix. Like they just proved that their defense can get them there, and their offense was kind of trash. So not trash, but just not as good as the defense was, and everyone knows the defense got them there. So to get them over the hump, I think George Pickens would be that guy.
Yeah, I don't mind him going there either, especially again with Courtland Sutton leaving. I have the Raiders in for 2 reasons. 1, they need a receiver. 2, George Pickens just feels like he belongs in Las Vegas, and that's pretty much all I have.
A vibe pick.
Exactly. It's all vibes. Moving on, Mike Evans. I like Mike Evans to the Patriots. It's a little bit of a reverse Tom Brady, Bucks to the Pats instead of Pats to the Bucks. They need a guy. Mike Evans is a certified. I mean, he's literally the upgraded version of Stephon Diggs, where he's a vet and maybe not upgraded in terms of talent, but he's a big dude. He still has gas in the tank. He's a vet, and he's a much better locker room presence. And I think with their young and up and coming team, I think he fits in perfectly. To be honest, and Drake May slinging the ball. I love that place. I feel pretty confident in that as well.
Yeah, the team I had down was the Bills before the DJ Moore trade.
Yeah, I like that.
Now
one
that happens, I don't think that DJ
He's
Moore
going
will.
To the Bills.
Yeah, I just
don't think Mike Evans. Is
I don't think Mike Evans is going to go to the Bills. But so I put the Commanders. I think they need another receiver along with Terry, and I know him and Terry kind of feel similar. I just don't know how much they'll care. Yeah, old like outside guys like jump ball, like I don't know. It's kind of how they feel, but I just don't think the Commanders will care. Just like they're like want another target for Jaden. Like I think it'll help free up Terry. I think it'd be fun. I don't think they want to go receiver at 7 in this draft class. I don't know though. I mean, yeah, maybe they do, but I think Mike Evans is like the perfect veteran player to pair alongside Terry and let Jaden cook.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. Feels pretty similar to the Patriots. Similar young quarterback.
I like your Patriots pick more, to be honest, than the Commanders, but I think the Commanders are cool. So
yeah, I think the Patriots, it's either him or they trade for A.J. Brown. It feels like one of the two.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
A.J. Brown with Mike Vrabel would be so sick. Let's make it happen.
It would be sweet.
Let's make it happen. I have Drake May. That'd be so tough.
Screw Travion Henderson, screw Monterey, just bring in
Derek. We just drafted Travion. He looked
good. Send Travion to the Packers in a 3-team deal. The Packers can send Jacobs to the Ravens, and then the Ravens can send Derrick Henry to the Patriots. And
I'd be all for that. Yeah. I think everyone's happy there too.
Except for maybe the Ravens.
Nah, I think the Ravens like Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, why would you rather have Jacobs than Henry at this point? But who cares?
Yeah, that will be interesting. We should get on the phone with these teams. We could get in with Gutekunst and suggest this.
Yeah,
we have the slightest ins to Gutekunst.
Yeah, slight, not really, but slight.
Preston's sister is friends with Gutekunst's daughter, so we could figure out a way. to get that
I went to college with her too, and in high school.
Right. Well, we went to high school with her.
Yeah, and I went to college with her.
Right. So we could get this information back.
Yeah.
I'm all for this.
Okay.
Travion Henderson's gonna be a Packer.
Guys, we have no influence here. This is all.
Don't listen to him. We
will not be asking you guys. No.
If you guys ever want any Gutekunst to know anything, let us know.
No.
We're boys. We're actually tight.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on now. Love Gutekunst. I think he does a great job with the Packers.
Agreed.
But moving on to Alex Pierce, he pretty much seemed like he's done with the Colts. I actually thought he was going to be coming back there, but
Very happy with that.
he put out an interview. He wants to get targets that aren't just way down the field, like low percentage ones. He wants to be more involved, be the more like a wide receiver 1-2 that's really involved with the team. So I think he has a really great opportunity to do that with the Dolphins if he chooses to go there. They need a wide receiver too now that Tyreek's gone. And Waddle, he is a target demander, but at the same time, like Pierce could do what he wants there. Like he could go deep. He can work all levels of the field. So I think Alec Pierce could be pretty happy with Miami as long as they have a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't mind that landing spot, especially with again Tyreek being released. I picked the Saints. I feel like the Saints are, again, their offense is developing. They don't really have that solid wide receiver 2. They traded Shaheed this last season. I think Alec Pierce would fit in well with Olave. Give Tyler Shuck another target at receiver. I think it'd be kind of fun to see him go there as well. Next up, we got Deebo Samuel. This is pretty fun. I have him going to the Steelers, mostly because he just also feels like a Steeler to me. Like, I don't know, just like, especially after getting DK Metcalf, the Steelers feel like a place that Deebo should just go. You get, again,
straight vibes.
Yeah, it's straight vibes here as well. But
yeah.
As far as like the target share was concerned in Pittsburgh, it was so whack, and they were throwing to Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren far more than anybody else. So to put a guy like Deebo out there to maybe spread targets out a bit more, I wouldn't mind that. It might free up DK a bit. I think he'd fit fine. He plays that slot where DK plays on the outside.
Yeah.
And it's not terrible. I mean, Deebo's not very good, but
yeah, I probably won't care about Deebo that much, and he probably won't be on my fantasy. But he might have fantasy relevance for one more year. And
yeah, he could.
He could.
He actually had some flashes this year, but he dealt with some injury and Jaden Daniels was out. So
see, I think he gets a little family reunion with the 49ers. I think I saw him hanging out with them and stuff. Like Trent. I mean, now Trent might be gone, but they were hanging out, and he looked like he just really liked a lot of the guys over there. So I think he could just come back to the 49ers. He probably has a bunch of friends there, maybe has a home there. I don't know, but
maybe a one-day deal and then retire to eat food.
Oh, okay. I think he actually could be pretty impactful. They need receiver too.
No, they don't. Ricky Pearsall.
Ricky Pearsall, in my opinion, would be fine with Deebo there.
To be awesome.
He could be awesome with Deebo there still. I don't even think Deebo eats into Ricky like that. If Ricky's the truth, he should not worry about Deebo.
Ricky is the truth.
Then he shouldn't worry about Deebo.
I'm worried about
Deebo. Parker invested in Dynasty into Ricky, so he needs Ricky Pearsall to be that guy. I think Ricky's going to be good. I had Ricky in a redraft league, and he pissed me off all year.
Well, he did, but he got hurt, so it's fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Next up, Packer Romeo Doubs. And
we love emotional Romeo Doubs.
We do. Dark helmet Romeo Doubs.
He is a little bit of a bobblehead, but
if you know the reference to Dark Helmet, please leave the first comment on any of our videos because I would be happy to know another lover of this movie. I believe he's going to go to the Jets. Why? Because the Packers and the Jets have a weird relationship with trading.
True, we really do.
And it just kind of feels like
they could use him. Yeah,
they could use another guy, especially with Garrett Wilson working his way back in. Why not?
Yeah,
they have Adonai Mitchell. I know that, but
John Mechie. I mean, guys that Dobbs are way better than.
Right? But I do think he would fit in well with the team. So
yeah. I have him going to the Titans. I think the Titans need wide receiver help. I think Iomanner didn't really show anything. Jermaine DK, he looks solid. In the return game, he was amazing. But I think you still need receiver help. And I think they could sign multiple receivers, to be honest. I actually have that happening later for a different guy. But I think Romeo could go play the X for the Titans.
I think it would be really fun if Romeo also went to the Raiders. Because the Packers and the Raiders also have a weird trading thing going on.
I couldn't put the Raiders again because the Raiders for my next guy, but
we sent Jordy Nelson over to the Raiders. We sent Devontae Smith over to the Raiders. We had some
Devontae Smith. We never had
not Devontae Smith. Devontae Adams. Sorry. Yeah. Who else? We sent Eric Stokes over there. We got Nate Hobbs. We've been trading with the Raiders for years.
Yeah, there's some teams that we do just feel connected to.
Weird.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, how did I forget that?
Yeah, big, yeah.
I guess we signed, but whatever. It's a lot of Packers-Raiders crossover.
Yeah, there is. Well, that'd be fun.
Charles Woodson, wasn't he a Raider?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like a ton.
I thought you said, yeah. But yeah.
Clay Matthews, didn't he go to the Raiders?
I thought he went to the Rams. Maybe
Fact
not.
check.
Okay, Parker's going to fact check. I'll move on to the next
And-
guy who I have going to the Raiders, Raheed Shaheed. Seems like that he's not going to get a deal done in Seattle. He looked really good in the Super Bowl in the playoff run. I thought Raheed Shaheed was a big factor in that. They needed that wide receiver too. He was that guy with the Torrey Horton injury. Don't forget about Torrey Horton. But yeah, I think the Raiders need a deep threat. I think Brock Bowers can work the middle of the field. So I think they want a burner on the outside. So I think he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it works there too.
Where was that fact check though?
He was a Ram.
I
thought maybe he did some Raiders in there too, but
yeah,
he did not.
it's chill.
Dang it.
I just wanted to make you sound stupid. No, okay.
I was gonna forget about it too.
Yeah.
I think Shaheed could possibly go to the 49ers. I do think that they need help at receiver, and I think he'd be fun on the team. Obviously, he's a crazy threat in the return game, like Preston said with the Seahawks. We saw that. But again, Ricky is kind of the only target at the moment besides aging CMC. So it would be interesting to see a guy like Shaheed on the 49ers. I think he's an electric playmaker, and Brock Purdy's been throwing the ball well. I think it'd be a fun landing spot.
Yeah, and then
in division trade.
Yeah,
or a free agent signing or whatever. But.
And then another guy that has been over 1,000 yards back-to-back years, Wan'Dale Robinson. I have the Titans also getting this guy with Romeo Doubs, and I think Doubs plays the X or Z, and then Wan'Dale goes and plays the slot. I like Wan'Dale a lot. I think he could really help Cam Ward, he could give Cam Ward a reliable check down target when their line fails.
I think Wan'Dale's fun. I actually had him, and when Malik went down, he was a fun guy to have.
Yeah, he was.
I think he's got the potential to go to the Chiefs, especially with all this Rashee Rice business. Wan'Dale Robinson. I feel like the Giants, and again, the Giants and the Chiefs have a weird thing, especially with receivers. I don't know. It just feels like the Chiefs have a weird thing with guys with names similar to Wan'Dale. Juju, Kadarius. Just like I don't know, dude.
Bro,
Wan'Dale,
what are you saying?
I don't know. Wan'Dale Robinson just sounds like a Chief to me.
It's
similar.
Guy.
It's a vibes again.
Yeah.
Right? Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster.
I think he could yeah.
And I feel like he's a good enough player. And I think you have Xavier Worthy as the burner, and you could throw him again in the slot. And especially if Rashee Rice is gone or in trouble.
Or if they plan on moving off of Rashee Rice, it could make sense. Because I don't know if I love it if Rashee and him are both there, but if they want to move off Rashee, it could make sense.
That's what I'm saying. So it's it's kind of fun, and I don't know if Mahomes is healthy. And I really would like Wan'Dale with no Rice on the Chiefs. I think he'd be a viable fantasy option.
Yeah, and then moving on to our tight ends, David Njoku's the first name up. I have him going to the Eagles. I think Goddard's going to depart, and I don't think they're early enough for Sadiq anymore after his combine. So I think David Njoku is a guy who's really athletic and has produced for fantasy before. If he goes to the Eagles, he'd be like a late round guy that I would just take a shot on because I think he is talented, and I think he was on the Browns for so long and he was successful there. It's the Browns were terrible. So I think on the Eagles, David Njoku could make some waves, and you'll have to pay nothing for him.
I do think that would be a fun landing spot. I have him going to the Dolphins. Again, we just talk about weird. This is more of a vibe thing for me too.
Why do you?
It is, but Darren Waller is getting older, right? And he hardly plays.
He could retire at any time.
He could retire at any time.
Yeah.
And Njoku's still young and playing well. I think he fits the bill of this team where they're going to need younger guys who are going to be around for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Njoku still has a decent amount of gas in the tank, and I guess there's another tight end that's younger on the list that I think could also go to the Dolphins, but a guy like Goddard, I thought about putting him at the Dolphins as well, but again, he's getting a little older. I feel like Njoku's just fits well with the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving into Dallas Goedert, I have him going to the Titans. Again, this is another vibe-ish pick, but they have Chigakonkwo, who's fine.
Yeah, Chig's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. They could use. And again, I feel like their offense is improving enough where they may be trying to have a proficient enough offense this year to compete for the playoffs. And I think Dallas Goedert still, again, has enough left in the tank for a team like the Titans for it to make more sense than the Dolphins. I think he'd be a solid safety blanket for Cam Ward. And he's a great end zone target. I mean, he had 11 touchdowns last year. He's a big dude. He knows how to find space. Yeah, they had a few cheap plays to score him touchdowns on shovel passes, but I don't think he would probably help Cam Ward a lot. I mean, maybe shorten the field a bit on some of those where he's in trouble and you can find him. I think he'd fit in well with this team.
Yeah, I have him. I think that's true. I think he'd be an asset for Cam Ward too, so I like that. I have him going to the Broncos. I think Sean Payton's weird, and like Evan Ingram didn't produce, and he's like, let's just run it back with a different old tight end.
Could be.
I think they're going to do something with that offense. So I think I'm just taking shots on guys to the Broncos feels good because I feel like the Broncos can't run back what they did last year and be like, oh yeah, we're going to do it this year after they were the 1 seed and they fell short. I know Bo Nix got hurt and it was like the Jarrett Stidham game, but that game was insufferable to watch. And I know the weather, but I feel like you can't watch that game and be like, we can just run back what we did and make the Super Bowl. I don't know. I feel like you got to add pieces, so that's why I haven't go to the Broncos. And then moving on to the last guy on the list, I think we cannot forget about this guy, Isaiah Likely, young, very athletic tight end. I think the Chiefs will not be taking Sadiq at 9, and if they don't take Stowers at 29, or like maybe they don't like. Hopefully they don't take like a Max Clare or Michael Trigg later in the draft either. So if they don't take anyone, like Kelsey's on the way out, Isaiah Likely very athletic. I think the Chiefs could very well pick up Isaiah Likely.
I think that would be a super fun landing spot.
For fantasy, I really want
fantasy,
that. Yeah.
Right. We've seen the way that Kelsey has been for so long, and Isaiah Likely is athletic. He is a good athletic physical tight end. To see him play with a guy like Mahomes and under Andy Reid would be a ton of fun.
I cannot believe that the Ravens didn't extend him and chose to extend Mark Andrews at this point.
That is crazy to me as well.
I thought it was like going to be totally flipped, and then they chose to give like Mark Andrews like a 3-year deal and let Likely walk.
After he dropped the ball against the Bills in the playoffs last year.
Well, I don't know. I feel like for timeline's sake too, like Likely's super athletic. Like I feel like people have been waiting for him to break out of the Mark Andrews shadow. And it could have happened, and now it's not going to happen on the Ravens. So I think it could happen on the Chiefs, especially if Kelsey's gone.
Yeah. I have Isaiah Likely going to the Vikings. Now, I didn't really have a lot of like information to go off of for this, but Hawkinson's getting older. I think this team's going to want to get younger, especially, again, with JJ, depending on what they do with quarterback. I feel like Likely could step in and play a solid role. He might start off giving Hawkinson a little bit of a break. So maybe it's a similar Mark Andrews to Likely situation, but he's already been doing that. So whatever, like if he steps into that role again, like teams could do that. So, and again, Hawkinson getting older has a little bit of an injury history. Likely's explosive, and he might help give JJ McCarthy some shorter.
Give JJ some more targets.
Too.
I like
what I'm
that.
Saying. Like it might help too. I thought Hawkinson was gonna be decent this year with JJ McCarthy for that same thing, and that didn't work out. So maybe McCarthy's just too bad.
Well, I liked McCarthy and I didn't like Hawkinson, so I don't know, trade-offs.
Yeah, well, they were both bad, so that shows you what we
know. You were wrong about Hawkinson. I was wrong about McCarthy.
We were both right about one of the things, because that one of them was going to be bad.
No.
You were right that Hawkinson was going to be bad.
Yeah,
I was right
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
so we were both half right.
But anyway, guys, that concludes our free agency predictions. We'll get back to you next week, and we'll see how we did. We can do a little recap of it. I hope a lot of this stuff happens. You guys should definitely be watching the free agency market. It's going to be fun, whoever team you have, no matter what. It's always a blast. It's always crazy to see the change, the turnover in the NFL. So, yeah, that's all from
you.
From me,
yeah. I think it would be kind of fun if we made a scoreboard for people who get them right.
You want to tally it up? And then if they go back to the same team, we get like half a point no matter what.
Yeah, or we can just draw.
Or zeros.
We can work out the kinks next week.
Yeah, I like friendly competition.
We'll come up with some sort of scoreboard because there's got to be a way for us to do that.
Yeah, you seem like you had a lot of vibe picks, so we'll see if that vibe was right or not.
If the vibe's right or not.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun to keep track.
Yeah, okay, we'll keep track. We'll bring that back to you guys next week. And, tell someone you love them. Peace out.
Appreciate it.